So, a quick thought came to mind, and I just wanted to say that if you're being stalked, if you're being harassed, if people come up to you in public and try to publicly humiliate you, or try to inappropriately touch you, or do things with your presence in such a way where it makes it hard for you to be around people, just know, you're not alone. You know, there are people out there who actually understand that kind of situation. But the thing is, there is something else you should know as well. That is, you should be careful with yourself. Because, I personally experienced it myself. They, whoever these people are, my guess is it always has something to do with the stuff I'm against, which is why they come out and find me after I do something that incapacitates their abilities to do things in an easy way. But they always come out and they always try to make it seem like, you know, your suffering, your pain, the things you know of, the very specific things you know of, that is, too. If it happens to slip out in conversation or whatever. Very specific. Not, it's only a thing that happens every now and then, in small groups and shit. But before I go off on a tangent, uh, specific things, you know, things that show, you're in a disposition of, in your own individual way, separate from everyone else. You know what I'm saying? It's something that these individuals try to say that they are having a competition with you with. And if you run into someone who says, hey, your pain and your suffering in this way isn't valid because my pain and suffering is this way, run. Run away from them. Don't give them any explanation why. Don't give them nothing. Just run. Run as far away as you can and try to find safety for yourself. Because if you're running into people like that, even just naturally, because, mental health, there's a whole mental health crisis going on where people don't have the funds and shit to do shit and they all think they're the government's number one experiment and shit. It's toxic for you as an individual who actually has to deal with stuff like that. The only other way that people could really understand that stuff to where it'd be taken seriously is like how rich people get fucked with for being rich. So, if you have to deal with stuff like that, someone who's just coming up and each and every time there's a new story that they have, even where it literally sounds like shit you're going through, like, don't get confused. There is discernment, but after a while you'll be able to figure it out. Just keep what it is that you have private. Only have those close friends that you know of around, that you could share that with. And that's, if you feel comfortable. You don't have to just share things with anyone. That's why you go to a psych or something, like a doctor. But if you run into any of that, please just run away. Run away and find shelter. Because it will get worse. The more and more those types of people are allowed around you, even the crazy ones, actual crazy ones, it makes you look like that. And a lot of times, the people who are paid to mess with people in those ways, they're paid to do stuff like that. To have something introduced to you at any point, any given time, to make it seem like you could only just be a part of what that is that they expose you to. It's how they try to gyp a lot of people from the reality that they face. And sometimes it's not for good reason. Sometimes they want to know someone's pain and suffering so they can sell it, even. They may even contribute to that pain and suffering so they can sell it as like an inspirational story with all these factors and things that they could sell using all this plastic bullshit and all these resources to do because they need excuses to keep fucking doing that the way they are. And guess what? It was your likeness. It was your voice. It was your pain. It was your suffering. It was all that. But now that it's out for everyone to see, now everyone will have a part of that pain and suffering. And it's no longer even limited to you. Best way I could describe that is, well, at least through video games right now. Because there was a video game called DayZ that came out. And that was a mod off of a game. But then because the concept of it was so great, the gameplay of it, the actual game itself was so great. Look how many clones came about into being. Just within that little time span. So now you got what? Player unknowns, fucking battlegrounds, you got fucking Fortnite, and you got all these like small little tiny cell phone clones of that shit, all made from different companies from around the world. It's the same concept. When there's something there that can gain influence, even if it's wrong, even if you're in a wrong where your situation isn't being heard or you're not being taken seriously, they use that. That's why I'm saying, if you see stuff like that, run. Just get out of there. Don't give them an explanation or nothing. They want to know where it is where it is you are. The only other option you have to do is either keep yourself safe and find resources to help you in that. But, even in the state of New Mexico alone, there isn't like a stalker, place where you can run to if you know you're being stalked. So, do what you can to try to prevent it. It's the only thing that you have as a means to defend yourself from these people. And that means you may have to do things that you wouldn't normally do in order to get away. You may have to let go of things that you may not normally let go of in order to get away and survive. So that's what's important about the whole situation. I mean, I've seen it before. They pay your immediate friends and family members to even fucking say shit to you, to fuck with you. And, the more and more information you allow out, the more and more they have an ability to fuck with you. So, take for example, all these people who fucking, went crazy one day. If you listen to some of these people who literally shot up places and did things, it's like they were being bullied psychologically. And a lot of times, a lot of that can be contributed to mental illness as well. But I think if you psychologically manipulate someone well enough, you can make it appear as though they are crazy. And maybe that's crazy. But as of right now, I have enough evidence to really prove things of that nature. And as of right now, at least in my investigations, it all comes to corporate ties. It all comes to the underground understandings of having something readily available while others would even have it, worse. So yeah, if you feel like that, if you feel like, people are honestly trying to fuck with you, do things to you, broad daylight even, doesn't even have to be isolated or anything. You can be in front of a lot of people even, don't give them the benefit of the doubt. What they want is to instigate a reaction from you. What you need to do is remove yourself, like I've said probably about 4 or 5 times, but remove yourself. And that's what I'll leave with today. Because, I mean, obviously you could probably tell how some of that stuff relates to my situation. But that's for me to know and you to find out. So, guess I'll have to see you all when I see you all again.